The stars above the orbital station moved slowly, like silent watchers. The station called Unity Ring floated between 3 dying planets. Inside, aliens from dozens of worlds came and went, but most of them ignored the human maintenance. Workers, humans were still new to the Galactic Union, and many species thought they were unimportant. Callan Miles, 27-year-old engineer from Earth, didn't care much about politics. His job was to repair doors, lights, and old machines. Most days, he wore grease-stained overalls and walked around with a tool belt that jingled when he moved. He lived in a small room, slept too little, and missed Earth food. But he liked solving problems. Machines were easier to deal with than people. One evening, while fixing a broken oxygen vent in a quiet part of the station, Callan heard a soft humming noise. It wasn't mechanical. It was music, slow, sad, and full of something that felt like longing. Curious, he followed the sound. At the end of the corridor, near a large round window, he saw her. An alien woman floated in a strange-looking chair that used gravity fields to move silently. Her skin was light silver, with faint lines of glowing blue running along her arms and neck. Her hair was braided in tight spirals, and her eyes were wide and soft like the sky after rain. She was beautiful, but also, alone, her legs looked thin and unused, resting on the chair like forgotten branches. Callan realized she was disabled, unable to walk on her own. She looked at him without fear, but also without much interest. "I didn't mean to interrupt," Callan said, scratching his head. She tilted her head. "You are human." "Oh, yeah," he said with a shrug. "Just a mechanic. Name's Callan." She looked at his tools. "Are you here to fix something?" "Maybe," he said. "No, I'm more curious about your music. It's nice." Her lips curved slightly. "It's an old Serati lullaby. My mother used to sing it when I couldn't sleep." "Serati," he repeated. "I read about your people. Royal bloodlines and empire stuff, right?" She looked away, her voice soft. That was a long time ago. Callan could tell she didn't want to talk about it, so he changed the subject. "I've got something weird with me. Want to see?" Callan pulled out a small glass vial from his pocket. Inside, it was dry brown dirt. "It's soil," he explained. "From Earth, from my mom's garden, actually. She grows tomatoes." The alien woman looked at it like it was a rare gem. "You carry this with you?" "Yeah," he said. "It reminds me of home. Thought I'd give it to someone special someday." She looked surprised. "Why give it to me?" Callan shrugged. He seemed lonely and honest. "I don't know. Maybe you just looked like you needed something real." She took the vial carefully, holding it in both hands. Her fingers shook a little. "This is alive," she said quietly. "Not just dirt. It smells of growth, of life." "Yeah," he said, a little embarrassed. "Earth's kinda good." At that, she looked at him for a long time, her expression unreadable. Then she said something strange. "I will always be with you." He blinked. "That's poetic." "Thanks." "I mean it," she said. "More than you know." Then the moment passed. She placed the vial into a slot in her grav chair and turned back to the stars. "I'm Elia," she said at last. "Daughter of the Serati throne, or what's left of it?" Callan stared. "Wait, you're a yes," she said a little coldly. "A disabled princess, useless to my people, hidden away on a station full of strangers." Callan didn't know what to say, so he just said the truth. "I think you're more than they deserve." She didn't reply, but her eyes shimmered with something that wasn't quite sadness. They talked for another hour, not about politics or war. They talked about tomatoes, music, zero-gravity cooking tricks, and what earth clouds look like before rain. Then her bodyguards came tall, silent Serati warriors. They looked at Callan like he was trash, but Alira held up a hand. "He's a friend," she said. The guards didn't argue, but they made sure Callan left. Back in his room, Callan lay on his bunk, staring at the ceiling. A princess. An actual alien princess. Oh. And she called him a friend. But it wasn't just that. There was something in her eyes when she said, "I will always be with you." It felt like a promise or a warning. Over the next few days, Callan tried to go back, to work as usual. But he kept thinking about Elira. He passed by the same window a few times, hoping to see her again. She wasn't there. By the end of the week, he heard rumors. The Serati princess, gone, disappeared overnight. Some say she was taken back to the Empire. Others say she was killed. No body. No farewell message. Nothing. Callan's gut twisted. He tried to find her. He asked questions. Too many soon, the security bots started following him. His ID card stopped working in some areas. His messages got delayed or lost. Someone was watching him. One night, while fixing a damaged power node near the alien garden dome, his tool buzzed in his hand. That wasn't supposed to happen. It buzzed again, and vibrated hard and shot a tiny bolt of light right at his toolbox. Startled, Callan dropped it. His toolbox opened, and inside, the empty glass vial rolled out, except at. It wasn't empty. There was a tiny black chip embedded in the base. He hadn't seen it before. His heart thudded. He touched the chip carefully and connected it to his scanner. A message flickered to life. Callan? It was Elira's voice. If you're hearing this, then I'm gone. Or close to it. I didn't know who else to trust. You gave me a piece of your world. I give you this truth in return. There was a pause. Then her voice grew urgent. They're coming for me. To rescue me. To silence me. The Serati High. Cast never wanted me to speak. I know too much. Another pause. The vial you gave me. It holds more than Earth's soil. It holds a key. In the roots of Earth's soil is something older than machines. Secret the Serati forgot. Find it. It may be the only thing left that can stop what's coming. Her voice cracked. I'm scared, but you're not. You're human. You hold on to hope like it's your weapon. Then she said it again, softer than before. I will always be with you. The message ended. Callan sat in silence, the vial in his hand. The stars watching again through the window. Something had started, and now he was part of it. He played the recording again and again, but it didn't give him more answers. The chip was real. The message was real. And Elira was gone. The next morning, he visited the spot where he first met Hertha, wide corridor with the window facing the stars. Her scent was gone. Her chair marks had faded from the smooth floor. Even the guards who once stood nearby were missing. It was like she had never been there at all, but she had. He remembered her face, her voice, the way she touched the vial of Earth soil like it was treasure. And now, a war princess with a broken body had trusted him, a grease-covered human tech with a warning that could save lives. Or end them. Callan sat alone in the maintenance room that night, stared at the vial. He opened it again. The soil was dry and ordinary at first. He sifted through it gently, letting the warm brown dust fall through his fingers. Of home, of gardening with his mom when he was 10, planting tomatoes in spring and watching them grow with pride. But now, it also held a secret. Near the bottom of the vial, he found something odd. A small, smooth seed. It was dark red, almost black, and it pulsed slightly when he touched it. Not like a machine, more like a heartbeat. Callan frowned. It was too perfect to be random. He scanned it with his basic tools. No results. Then he borrowed a bioanalyzer from the alien garden dome. He told the staff he was checking human compatibility for soil research. They didn't ask questions. The scanner beeped and blinked red. Ancient genetic code detected. Pre-Empire, Serati plant life. Modified. Locked. Warning. Royal encryption present. Callan sat back in his chair. So it was true. The seed inside the earth soil wasn't human. It was alien, old, and protected with royal codes. She had hidden a living piece of her. History inside his gift. He returned to his quarters and began researching. The Galactic Union's database had limited Serati history. Most of it was edited. Or vague. But one old file mentioned something called the Root Protocol. It was said to be a system from the early days of the Serati Empire when they still lived close to the land. Before machines ruled everything, the root protocol was believed to be lost, or maybe erased. Callan began to understand. The soil wasn't just a gift. It was a carrier, a hiding place. The plant inside might connect to old systems even the modern Serati couldn't control, which meant someone would kill to keep it secret. That night, his room door failed to open. His ID card had been deactivated. Lights in the hallway flickered. 2 security drones hovered outside his door. He grabbed his tool belt and the vial, then went to the back wall. There was an old access tunnel behind a panel most people forgot it even existed. Not Callan. He had fixed it 2 weeks ago. He slipped through just as the drones buzzed into his room. From the shadows, he watched them scan every inch of his small space. They found nothing, but that didn't matter. Callan was now a fugitive. He moved through the underbelly of Unity, Ring Quiet. Tunnels, storage rooms, old engineering paths that no alien diplomat had ever seen. The deeper levels were cold and empty. Sometimes he passed sleeping machines, older than the station itself. He needed help. But who could he trust? Most humans on the station worked for the Union or followed orders. They wouldn't risk their jobs or their lives, except maybe one. Name was Dr. Myra Chen, a biologist from Earth who worked in the Xenogarden labs. Callan had helped fix her water systems last year, and they became friendly after that. She liked coffee and old jazz. She also believed in truth, even when it hurt. He found her late at night. "Watering alien plants under artificial moonlight, Callan," she whispered. "Why do you look like you ran from a burning ship?" "I think someone's trying to erase me," he said. He handed her the vial. She frowned. "Earth soil. Look again." She found the seed and scanned it with her lab tools. Her eyes widened. "This is alive," she said. "But not just that. It's aware. It's reacting to your touch." Rare. Callan explained everything, Elira. The message, the chip, the rumors, the locked doors. The history by the end. Mira looked scared. "Do you know what this means?" She asked if this seed is real. Could be a back door into old Serati systems. Agriculture, defense, even throne rights. That's a huge threat to the current Serati rulers. Callan nodded, and that's why Elira's gone. Mira whispered they'll come for the seed next. As if on cue, alarms blared across the dome. Red lights flashed. Unknown biomaterial theft reported. Security teams are mobilized. They were out of time. Mira led Callan through a hidden garden hatch, into the old waste tunnels. They ran through wet steel corridors and climbed ladders into gravity-neutral zones. Drones searched the upper halls, their lights sweeping through. Windows. Eventually, they reached a sealed cargo bay. "This is where we store old station parts," Mira said. "No cameras. No guards. Too boring." Callan sat on the cold floor, panting. Mira sat beside him. "So what now?" Looked at the vial again, the soil, the seed, the secret. "She trusted me," he said. "Not because I'm special, but because I cared. I treated her like a person." Mira smiled. "Sometimes that's enough." Callan stood. "I'm going to find out what this seed unlocks. I'll go into the deep station where the old systems sleep." Myra looked unsure. "That place is unstable. Some doors haven't opened in decades." "I don't care," he said. "Whatever the root protocol is." Lyra thought it mattered. "That's enough for me." She touched his arm. "You're either brave or stupid." "Both," he said. Then he added, "If I don't come back, tell Earth I tried." As he walked toward the old gravity shaft, Callan whispered to himself, "Elira, wherever you are, I'm still with you." And in the silence of his pocket, the vial of Earth soil pulsed softly like a heartbeat in the dark. The Unity ring was silent at night. Only the humming of the power lines and the low, distant voices of drones filled the air. Far below the regular station levels, past the gardens and cargo bays, Callan stepped into the deep Kortha part. of the station forgotten by most people. These tunnels were old, built when the Unity Ring was first made, long before Earth joined the Galactic Union. Most doors were sealed, some covered in rust and dust. It smelled like metal and dry air. Callan walked carefully, flashlight in one hand, the vial in his pocket, close to his chest. Behind him, he left the safer levels and all normal life. Ahead, only broken systems, dark halls, and maybe answers. He remembered Elira's message again. The vial holds a key. It may be the only thing left that can stop what's coming. He had no map of this part of the station, but he had something better, the seed. Ever since he had taken it out in the garden, the seed had begun to glow faintly when near certain walls or doors. It's almost like it knew where to go. Mira had told him that some ancient plants from the Serati homeworld were biolinked to royal machines. They could guide, awaken, or unlock old systems. So Callan followed it after an hour of walking. Climbing and crawling through narrow passages, he reached a heavy old hatch. Its surface was covered in strange markings, curved lines, stars, and symbols that looked alive under his flashlight. When he pulled the seed close to it, the hatch clicked. The metal shifted with a soft groan. Steam hissed from the cracks. Then it slowly opened. Behind it was a circular room full of quiet light. In the center was a glowing tree. It stood about 4 meters tall. Its trunk was silver and black, like steel and ash mixed together. The leaves were golden, and they moved without wind. Roots stretched under the glass floor, connected to old machines and thick wires. Around the walls, panels blinked, slowly ancient Serati tech, untouched for hundreds of years. Callan stepped in carefully. The seed in his hand pulsed harder. Almost warm now, a small interface rose from the floor, round, smooth, and waiting. The tree's roots glowed brighter. Callan took a breath, placed the seed in the center slot, and waited. The room came alive. A soft voice echoed around him, not Elira's voice. This one was older, wiser, and not human. Root protocol recognized, bloodline connected. Royal key accepted, beginning playback. The panels on the walls lit up and showed images. First, the Serati homeworld green and alive. Before the Empire then, war. Planets burning, cities falling. Machines flying across the stars. Then came the rise of the Serati high caste, those who chose power over peace. They used the root tech plant-based machines to build weapons. But one faction disagreed. The Garden Keepers. They believed nature should be protected. That power should serve life, not control it. They created a system called the Root Protocol, hidden deep in the royal family's DNA. It was a final plan that could restore the balance if the Empire ever lost its way. Elira was part of that line. She wasn't just royalty. She was a key. Callan stepped closer to the tree. The voice continued. The Princess Elira carried the final seed. If it connects to fertile earth soil and a human touch, the signal will awaken. Lost systems across the network. The truth will rise. Empire will fall. Callan felt cold, ill. Why Ra had known all of this? That small gift he gave, just earth soil from his mom's garden, wasn't just a symbol. It was the missing piece. It's a living ground that could awaken the seed and complete the protocol. And now, it had begun. Suddenly, a red alarm flashed in the tree chamber. Warning: unauthorized life forms detected. Callan turned and looked at the hatch. Voices. Footsteps. They had found him. He grabbed the seed again and backed toward the tree. If they stopped him now, everything Elira gave would be lost. The hatch burst open. 3 figures stepped in. 2 were Serati guards, tall and armored. The third was a woman, noble, sharp, cold. Her silver robe had royal symbols, I'm afraid. This little adventure ends here, she said. Callan clenched his jaw. Who are you? I'm Varish Violin, cousin to Princess Elira, and next in line for the throne, now that she's been removed. Callan's eyes burned. You killed her? Varish laughed lightly. Please, we don't kill family. Erase them. She stepped forward slowly. That seed belongs to the Empire. Hand it over, little human. Callan didn't move. It's not yours. It was never yours either. She gave it to me. That was a mistake, Varish said. Callan turned to the tree. Could feel it waiting, ready to complete the connection. Varish raised her hand. One step closer, and I'll burn that dirt from your filthy planet. Callan took a breath. Then you'll burn the truth with it. He slammed the seed into the tree's final port. The light exploded. The roots of the tree flared like lightning. Golden energy rushed through the cables. Floor shook. The walls groaned. Varish screamed. The guards fell back, shielding their eyes. Callan stood still. The tree rose its branches, splitting the ceiling above. A strange warmth filled the room. Not heat life. Then the voice returned. Root protocol complete. Broadcasting across Serati systems. Locked archives opened. Royal lies ended. All across the galaxy, hidden systems woke up. Old gardens sealed by the Empire opened again. Messages, history files, and royal secrets broadcast to every Serati world. The truth could no longer be hidden. Varish fell to her knees. No, Callan. Stepped away from the tree. It still pulsed, golden and strong. You lost, he said. Varish looked up at him with fury. You think this changes anything? You're just a human? You're nothing? Callan held the empty vial in his hand. I'm the one she trusted. He turned and walked out, leaving Varish behind. Back in Myra's lab hours later. Callan sat in silence. The tree in the deep core was still running. Guards no longer followed him. News had spread, serious news. Across the Galactic Union, people. We're talking about the Serati again. Not as rulers, but as liars. And one girl had started it. Illyra, he whispered. You did it. Mira brought him tea. You don't look happy, she said softly. She should have lived to see it. She knew the risk. She didn't care. Mira nodded. Maybe that's what made her royal. Callan looked out the window at the stars. For a moment, he thought he saw a flicker like a ship cloaked in light, passing near the edge of the station, and for a second, he swore he felt Illyra's voice again. Callan sat in the quiet lab, staring out at the stars. The Unity Ring was no longer the same place. The secret he and Illyra had uncovered. The root protocol had changed everything. News from the deep core was spreading fast. The Serati people were divided. Many were shocked. The royal family's lies were exposed for all to see. Some cried for justice. Others feared chaos. But Callan felt a cold knot in his stomach. Because the battle had only just begun. Days later, the stations. Public systems were flooded with messages from the root protocol. Secret files from the Empire's past were open to everyone. Videos, plans, and recordings showing the cruelty of those in power. The Serati high caste could no longer hide behind their golden masks. Yet, the new royal cousin Varish was still alive. She was angry. She had disappeared into the shadows, gathering supporters who wanted to keep the old ways. Loyalists who saw the root protocol as a threat to their power. Callan knew the balance on Unity. Ring was fragile. In the midst of this, a secret group called the Garden Keepers reached out to Callan. They were rebels, descendants of those ancient Serati who once protected nature and freedom. Their leader, a woman named Jessa, contacted him through encrypted messages. Callan, you carry the seed of hope. The root protocol is awakening. We must act before Varish takes control. Callan agreed to meet Jessa in a hidden greenhouse deep inside the station's lower levels. When he arrived, the place was alive with strange plants and soft lights. Jessa was waiting. She had sharp eyes and calm confidence. We're planning a rebellion, she said, to free the Serati from the High Caste's lies. The seed you have is the key to restoring the planet's balance. Callan nodded. Want to help? But I don't know how. Jessa smiled. Together, we'll find a way. While Callan trained with the Garden Keepers, learning about the ancient plants and their powers, Varish was plotting too. She wasn't just angry, she was desperate. Varush contacted the Galactic Union military. She claimed Callan was a terrorist, that he had stolen royal property and threatened peace. Soon, soldiers arrived at the station. Callan's every move was watched. One night, while he and Jessa discussed plans, alarms rang out. "Security breach in deep core," the voice announced. "All personnel evacuate immediately." Varesh's forces were attacking. The garden keepers fought back fiercely. Callan led the resistance. In the tunnels, using the plant systems to block paths and trap enemies. But Varesh was clever. She sent a special squad to capture the root tree itself. Callan raced to the deep core. But the battle was already raging. Guards swarmed the chamber, trying to cut the tree's roots. Callan grabbed a tool and cut the cables they were destroying. While Jessa used plant vines to bind the soldiers, amid the chaos, Varesh appeared. Her silver robe torn, but eyes burning with hatred. "You can't stop the Empire," she hissed. "The Sarati need order, not rebellion." Callan stood firm. "The Sarati need truth." With a sudden move, Varesh lunged at him, but Jessa caught her arm. "You won't win," Jessa said. The fight was interrupted by an explosion. The station shook violently. Power failed in many sections. Callan looked up to see a shadow ship cloaked. And silent, hovering above the Unity Ring, a new player had entered the game. The shadow ship sent a message. "This is the Consortium. We have interests in the Sarati Empire. We offer a deal. Surrender the root protocol or face destruction." Callan, Jessa, and the garden keepers knew they faced a greater threat. The Consortium was a secret group that controlled powerful trade and weapons. If they wanted the root protocol, it was not just about power, it was about control of the galaxy. In the dark of the next night, Callan met with Varesh not as enemies, but as uneasy allies. "We can fight the Consortium alone?" Varesh asked bitterly. "No," Callan said. "But if we work together, maybe we can protect the root protocol in the Sarati future." Varesh studied him, then nodded slowly. The final battle was coming. Callan looked at the vial of soil once more. The seed inside had grown stronger, almost like it was ready to change everything. He thought of Elaru, her courage, her trust. He whispered, "I will always be with you too." The Unity Ring trembled beneath the approaching threat. The Consortium's shadow ship hung over the station like a dark cloud. Its weapons were powerful enough to destroy entire sections of the ring, but their target was clear: the root protocol and the secret power of the Sarati legacy. Callan stood with Jessa, Varesh, and the garden keepers in the deep core chamber. The glowing tree pulsed brightly, casting golden light on all their faces. "This is it," Jessa said quietly. "If the Consortium destroys the tree, everything is lost." Varesh looked uneasy. "We must protect the root protocol, no matter the cost." Callan felt the weight of Ilara's gift in his pocket, the vial of soil. Now alive with the pulsing seed, he took a deep breath. "We have one chance. The tree can connect to the station's old defense systems, can protect us, but only if the seed fully merges with the soil." Jessa nodded. "Callan, you must plant it." The chamber's floor opened slowly, revealing a small patch of fertile soil, glowing with life energy. Callan knelt and placed the seed carefully into the earth. As he did, the room filled with a soft vibration that grew stronger and stronger. Roots from the glowing tree reached down, wrapping gently around the seed. The soil brightened, and light spread through the cables beneath the floor. Suddenly, the station's old defense systems woke. Turrets rose from hidden walls. Force fields shimmered into existence. The Consortium's ship fired a warning blast. But the Unity Ring was ready. Outside, the station's shields absorbed the attack. Inside, Callan and the garden keepers fought. Alongside Varesh's guards, defending the deep core from Consortium soldiers sent in boarding pods, the battle was fierce. Energy weapons cracked the air. Sparks flew. But the power of the root protocol gave the defenders strength. Callan moved quickly, coordinating with Jessa to keep the plant systems active. The vines inside the tunnels grew thick and strong, trapping enemies. Varesh fought fiercely, showing skill and strength Callan had never seen. "Not bad for a human," she said through gritted teeth. Callan smiled. "Not bad for a royal cousin," Hours passed, and the consortium's attack slowed. Then the station's main speaker crackled. "This is Commander Halen of the consortium. Surrender the root protocol, and your lives will be spared." Callan stepped forward, voice calm but firm. "You want control? The Serati are not your pawns. This seed is not just a weapon. It is life, freedom, and hope." There was silence, then a burst of static. The communication cut. With the consortium retreating, the Unity Ring began to heal. The Garden Keepers celebrated quietly. The Serati people were waking up to a new future. Callan looked at the glowing tree one last time. Jessa came beside him. "You did well," she said. Callan shook his head. "I just gave a gift, a small gift." Jessa smiled. "Sometimes a small gift can change everything." Weeks later, the Serati High Caste Council met. Varouche, once bitter and proud, now stood beside Callan and Jessa. "We must rebuild," she said, "with truth and respect for all life." The people cheered. Callan returned to his simple life, but the vial stayed with him a reminder. One night, as he looked up at the stars, a familiar voice whispered in the wind, "I will always be with you." He smiled, and in that moment he knew the galaxy had changed forever.